You know, when it comes to purchasing something like an RV, one of the things that nobody ever really talks about is all of the money you've got to spend buying stuff to go with it. It is insane. We've already done a video on a handful of items that you absolutely have to have on day one. But on day one, you're also going to start realizing that you need other things, which means spending a whole lot more money.
In this video, we're going to show you our secret for saving tons of money, but warning, it's going to take time, luck, and a little bit of work.
You're going to have to work for it.
Yes.
But it's fun work. So our strategy for buying things that we need for our RV without spending a bunch of money up front is to find as many things on sale or on thrift or at swap meets and things like that. But one of our favorite techniques is the Amazon Returns bin store. Now, I did a video a while back on the Dad Budget Adventures channel about how the bin store works, but let us give you a quick rundown of what's involved.
When you go to a bin store, these are items that have been purchased through companies like Amazon and Walmart that people have decided for one reason or another that they are not going to keep. When the items are returned, they're not put back into circulation. Instead, they are packaged, they are put on pallets, and they are sold to these bin stores where you can go treasure hunting of sorts.
So the way the concept of the bin store works is that everything in the store is the same price, no matter what it is. Ideally, that's the way it works. That has started to change recently where they're fishing out the really good stuff and they're just putting a price tag on it and sticking it behind the counter. The idea overall is that everything they get in those pallets is put into these dump bins and it all sells for the same price. Now, on the first day of the new inventory, everything sells for one particular price. In our local stores, I think that's up to $10 now. It was $9. Before that, it was $8. It just keeps steadily climbing. Then the next day, what didn't sell on that first day comes down by about $1, maybe $2. The third day, it drops again. And then by the final day, you can buy anything you find in the store for about 50 cents. So now that you know how the bin store works, let's talk a little about the things that we have found to use in our RV.
One of the cool items that we found was this percolator coffee pot. We are both coffee junkies, and this is a necessity in any camping travel arrangement that we're gonna do.
Now, I love my vintage coffee travel set, but the thing is, sometimes we're just not gonna be able to use it. If we're boondocking, for example, and we're not wanting to use up any unnecessary power, then having something like this is going to help. This is a stovetop percolator. All you need is a heat source like our propane stove, and we'll be able to make coffee. So even if we have burned our batteries all the way down and we have nothing left, we can still make coffee and get through that day.
And I also like that this one is a 9-cup coffee maker. So if we're traveling with friends, we have coffee for everybody, not just us. And we do drink a lot of coffee, so it could just be for us.
Yeah, and I was already looking for something like this anyway, so this made me really happy when I found it.
Absolutely.
So this next item, I felt so lucky when I found it because it's definitely something that you're going to have for your RV. And I just happened to stumble across this. Now, I got this one before we bought the RV. I got this thinking I was going to use it for the teardrop camper that y'all see in the Dad Budget Adventures videos, but it turns out that the teardrop doesn't really have a 30 amp hookup in it, so I just never used it. I just set it aside. What I found was a 30 amp extension cord. Check this out. I mean, that right there made my whole day by coming across that. Items like this are an absolute treasure to find because it's exactly what you're going to need. And it's not something that a whole lot of people are going to be in that store looking for.
How much do they usually cost if you get it from Amazon?
All right, so if I bought this on Amazon, this is how much I would have paid. So I think maybe I paid $6 for this the day I found it. So that's how much I saved.
One of the most used items from our time in the RV so far are these cool little food boats. And these came from a bin store, completely sealed, ready to use. And we got them at a bargain. Along the same lines, we also found some sectioned dining trays. These are made of paper pulp, so they are biodegradable and they are easy to break down, and you can throw them in the fire if you need to. While we're on the subject of kitchenware, I was able to find this Orca travel wine glass, And
Travel wine glass?
okay, so maybe not drink and drive, but you know, it is good for a RV if I'm going to be going out somewhere.
Drink after you drive?
Drink after I drive. Absolutely. Isn't that generally how that works?
All right, so anytime you're working with something like an RV, you have to have tools on hand. You have to have things to help you hook up the sewer. You have to have things to put screws back in when you find them on the floor. So everybody's going to need some kind of a tool organizer. One of the things that I found was this tool roll bag. This thing is super cool. You just open it up like this, it rolls out. You've got individual compartments for all your different tools. You can even label these as far as what's inside. If you need to put wrenches and screwdrivers and things, if you need a spot to put things like your solar connections and your repair kit for your solar hookups, you can do that. But it's just a super simple little bag. It's very tough, very robust. And then when you're done, you just put all your tools back in it, roll it up, throw it in the belly of your RV.
You know the really cool thing about this? If you are traveling and you need something to put toiletries in or ladies' makeup or whatever, this thing is a lot more heavy duty than what I usually carry.
One thing I will point out, I have found a lot of these at the bin store. I'm not sure why. They're not an inferior product. They are actually a really good product. So you can buy multiples of these and put whatever you need in it and then just stow it wherever it goes.
Kitchen tools.
Yeah.
I'm a girl who likes her cozy, comfy, luxury items, and on occasion, I might be one of those bed-rotting girlies. And I need something that's going to be plush, comfy, and lovely. If you can get it out of the box.
It's so in character with what you're delivering right now.
I might be a raccoon girly too, so ooh, I haven't opened this yet, obviously. Open it. Thank you. Thank you, Stay Tan. Ooh. This is a nice little throw, but the throws work really well on this size bed, and this is so plush. Okay, I'm blood rotting.
All right, so I figured back here behind the RV is a good place to do this one. The next thing I found, I was super stoked about this. DL and I are very new when it comes to the RV thing, and we are not ready to start pulling a tow vehicle with us. So our transportation when we get to our sites is going to be e-bikes. Now, one of the things about e-bikes is you got to keep them covered when you're transporting them because they don't do well when they get rained on. You can see I've got my e-bike rack back here and ready to go. I happened to find a 2-bike cover. This is a waterproof cover that goes over the bikes on the rack on the back of your vehicle. This is another one of those items I'm so glad that I found because this is how much they cost on Amazon. And I think we paid maybe $6-7 for this.
This is another item that we found at a bin store before we started recording this video. And this is a picnic blanket. And it's a pretty nice sized, self-contained picnic blanket that you can set up anywhere and enjoy a nice day out in nature. If you need to sit on the ground, you don't have to worry about your pants getting wet.
All right, so as we stand in the kitchen, this is a great time to talk about this next item. Over on the Dad Budget Adventures channel, I used to have an Amazon wish list, and one of the things that I put on it was a fire blanket. One of my amazing viewers who happened to be a firefighter saw that on the list and sent it to me and said, this is an absolute must-have, and I needed you to have this. So I thought, you know, one of the things that we have to make sure that we have in the RV is fire safety equipment. The other day we were at our local bin store and I found this. It's another fire blanket. It's almost exactly like the one that that viewer sent me. They had a stack of these things. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, that is going with us. Because if you're going to have an RV, you need to be able to put out fires very quickly, and these are an amazing way to do that.
One of the things that we became aware of almost immediately is that the floors in your RV are going to get dirty really fast. So you're going to want to invest in some sort of rug or runner that you can put on the floor to help that issue. So this is a rubber back weather resistant mat, and it's, look how long this thing is. It's almost as tall as I am. I'm short, but I'm not that short. The other thing that's going to make this mat invaluable for us is we plan to travel with our dog Bobby, and this is going to give him a place that he can walk across the floor, and we're not going to have to worry about him slipping and sliding everywhere.
Speaking of Bobby, DL got me this shirt for Christmas. Look at this. There he is. There's Bobby. So the last item that we picked up in this first round of doing this stuff is one of my favorites, and that is these bar top mats. We found a set of 4 bar top mats. We got 2 of this one right here and 2 of this one right here. And I'll tell you why these are my favorite. One is that we keep one of these on the table here. So if we're eating, it acts kind of like a placemat. It keeps us from having to constantly clean the table. If this gets messy, all we got to do is take it outside, dump some water on it, and it's clean. The other reason is that I put the other one of these on top of the glass top on our stove. We noticed right away after we got this RV that driving down the road, that glass top rattled like crazy. And I could have probably put a towel or something under it, but I don't like the idea of putting something like that on top of those burners. Even though they don't stay lit, if somebody bumps into one of the knobs, the igniters start cranking up, and I don't want to risk a fire by putting something combustible under that glass top. Setting this thing on top, we didn't hear a peep out of it on the way home. Then we have these 2 here. I put one behind the sink and one next to the sink. And the thing I love about these is if we make coffee and we need a place to put that spoon, we can set it on this. And then all we got to do is splash a little water on that and it's clean. If we need a place to set something that might be a little messy, instead of putting it on the countertop, we set them on these. They have absolutely saved us a ton of time when it comes to cleaning up after ourselves, when it comes to food prep or eating or what have you. These are absolutely my favorite of everything that we found.
The other things I want to share about these is they make great trivets. If you are cooking and you're trying to transfer pots or something that could be hot to the table has a vinyl
It's a
cover.
veneer.
Yeah, it's a veneer. I'm a little concerned that putting something extremely hot will cause this to bubble and get damaged, but we were able to set my Ataki that was still very, very hot on this mat. No problem at all.
Didn't have to worry about it one little bit. So that's everything that we found going through our local bin stores, trying to find items that we can use to put in our RV. Some of this stuff is a little hard to add up because like this right here is an unbranded item. So I don't know how to find the exact item that we got. And I don't want to just post a price on something I can't verify that that's what this is. But I will tell you this, we saved a whole lot of money by finding this stuff at the bin store. Not everyone is going to have a bin store like ours where you're going to find this kind of stuff. I've had a lot of people tell me they have one in their area, but they don't ever have anything good. Look, here's the thing. They've got these things in every major city around the country. So if you're traveling, see if there's a bin store in the area. Stop in and see what they've got. You never know what you're going to find. In fact, if you're out RVing, take your RV, park it in their parking lot, and go and buy a bunch of stuff to put in it.
It's a treasure hunt every day.
It is, and I think that's part of the fun of it. The idea of going in, it's kind of like going thrifting. You never know what you're going to find. But we do have to add one caveat to this. One of the issues that you're going to run into with bin stores is you never know what the condition is of the item that you're getting. Most of them have rules where you're not allowed to open the boxes, and sometimes you'll get home and the thing that you bought and you were so excited about is going to be broken. It happens. I bought an iPad one time. I went on the first day of the new inventory. I found an iPad. I bought an iPad for $8, got out to the parking lot, and it was destroyed. The entire screen was just in fragments. I was so mad. But that's one of the gambles that you take. Now, a lot of stores will let you open items just to inspect them, but some don't. So you definitely are taking a gamble. So make sure that you're willing to lose a little bit of money every once in a while to get the good stuff.
And there have been times when we have made a purchase and the bulk of the item or a portion of the item was damaged, but we were able to use the rest of it. Sometimes you're going to get a modular item that you can use part of it and it will work just fine. And then sometimes you're just going to get a piece that's nothing but pure trash at this point.
So that's it for our tour of the items we got for our new RV by going to the Amazon Returns bin store. I'd love to hear your experiences with your local bin stores and tell us what is the coolest thing you've ever found at a bin store.
If you're enjoying this content, don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then ring that bell for notifications.
But that's going to be a wrap on this one. And until we do this again, we will see you down the road.
Bye.
See ya.